Hello, my name's Terry Harrison. I'm going to show you how to paint a village in the snow in watercolour. One of the most difficult things about painting in watercolour is actually the drawing. I'm going to show you a very simple way of putting the drawing onto the watercolour paper. First, stick your watercolour paper onto the board. Over the top of that, place the image you want transferred onto the paper. Then we use trace down paper. This is a thin tissue paper with some graphite on the reverse side. You put this graphite down onto the watercolour paper, line that up. Then with a biro, you press firmly over the drawing and that drawing will transfer onto the watercolour paper. So just go over each line with the biro. When you've finished tracing down, remove the tracing down paper. There you have your finished drawing ready to start painting. I've put some masking tape around the edge of the picture. This is just for decoration. So when you finish the painting, you remove the tape and you're left with a nice clean white border. The next stage is applying the masking fluid. Wet the brush with a bar of soap. This will protect your brush from the masking fluid. Wipe the brush over the soap. This forms a barrier between the hair and the masking fluid. Dip that into the masking fluid and mask off the areas where the snow lays on the branches of the trees. I'm going to mask off the top of the chimney stack and just around the outside of the thatched cottage. Don't have to mask out the whole of the roof. Along those tree trunks, some branches, some tracks coming round on the road, on the windowsills where the snow sits like that, and the window frame, on top of the letterbox, and just on the side of that tree where the wind has blown the snow onto the side of that tree and just sat on the top of that branch. Just continue to mask off the snow on the trees, on the very top of the trees, just that little canopy of snow. Then we just leave that to dry. Now I'm going to show you a very interesting way of painting the sun in a sunset. So this is going to be an evening painting with a sunset. You need a small coin. This is a 5p. Some kitchen towel. Put that into the centre of the kitchen towel, then fold the paper around tightly, twist the paper underneath and pull it taut so you have a completely smooth round circle. Do that before you start. Large brush, this is the golden leaf brush. Wet the sky area first. Paint over the masked area. So once the masking fluid has dried, just ignore it, just paint over it. So wet the sky area, so there's no standing water, just so it glistens. We start with cadmium yellow with just a touch of cadmium red. Start in the lightest bit, which is here, this is where the sun's going to be. Fade that up. This time we're going to put in a touch of permanent rose. A little bit stronger again. Wash the brush out. Back to the permanent rose pretty much on its own. Wash that in at the top above the yellow. Again, just make that just a shade stronger. Wash the brush out, this time with some cobalt blue. Start at the top of the painting and bring that down into the permanent rose. So the permanent rose creates a barrier between the yellow and the blue, therefore stopping it from going green. Wash the brush out, squeeze the water out of the brush. This is the colour shadow. Just put in some clouds. Wash the brush out. Then, with your coin, position where you want the sunset and push firmly onto the paper. The paint on the paper soaks into the kitchen towel, and when you do that, you have a perfect circle. When you put the sun in, just let it dry off.